To a domestic violence call at the apartment complex behind me just a little bit after 5:20 p.m. During that time, they entered the apartment complex into the courtyard, at which point they saw a man standing on the second floor landing with a gun in his hand. Officers gave the man multiple commands to drop the gun, at which point that's when the officer-involved shooting occurred. The man then went into a apartment in the second floor. The officers were able to move up to the second floor landing, at which point they gave multiple commands for the man to come out, at which point he did. Officers were able to move up, at that time they noticed that the man had suffered a gunshot wound. They began rendering aid, and additional officers came to the area and were able to go inside the apartment where the man came out of, and were able to get an adult female and two children out to safety, at which point the men were able to the officers were able to get the man to the fire department, and they were able to take him to the hospital in critical condition. Officers were able to locate a firearm inside the apartment. So as you can see, the investigation is still early on, but I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Any information on the type of firearm that was used?
Currently, that is part of the investigation, and again, we're trying to figure out exactly which firearm was used.
Any information leading as to why this person had a firearm on the second floor and then
From what I heard of your question, unfortunately, it is still part of the investigation. We're still trying to figure that part out.
And he did shoot himself?
There's no information to show that.
When you said he came out with a gun, was it pointed towards officers when he was on the second floor, or was that still part of the domestic that was going on?
That is some of the details. We're still going through the investigation. What I can tell you, there were also multiple people out in the courtyard.
Not related to the case? They just have to
We're still trying to figure that out, their involvement, if any.
Did those people include children in the courtyard?
Currently, that's still details that we're trying to figure out through the investigation.
Do you know how many officers shot and how many approximately shots were fired?
There were multiple officers that were there during the call. However, how many shot is still something we're going through. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Appreciate you waiting out here in the heat. I will send out some additional information once we have it in the media advisory.
Last thing, how many officer-involved shootings is this on the year?
I have to look at the number again. I don't have it at the top of my head.
Did you say he's still in critical condition?
He's still in critical condition. Thank you, folks.